Good evening. I am Stampin' Dee, Deanna Blackman. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and we're here tonight for Dying to Know. Dying to Know occurs on the first Tuesday night of every month, and it just so happens that October 1st was the first Tuesday night for this month. So, we're here tonight. We're going to look at autumn leaves. But before we get into that, I do want to make mention of a Christmas tag class. Coming up, the deadline to RSVP for that and to pay is Saturday, October 5th. So that's why I wanted to make mention of it, because that deadline is coming close and fast. Not only is it an in-person class, but it is a Zoom class. And the Zoom class is Thursday, October 24th from 6:30 to 9. But the deadline is the same because I have to put in the order for the products. This is a product class. You will receive a package, an ephemera package of Joyful Images Mix and Match, an ephemera package of Joyful Sayings Mix and Match, and kits to make 10 tags with lots of elements left over. So I need to get those ephemera packs ordered. So anyway, it's $30 for the class. If you do the Zoom, it's $38, and that just includes the cost to priority mail the products and the kits to you. So keep that in mind. The Zoom class is $38. I would love for you to participate anywhere. Anyone in the U.S. can participate in this. So keep that in mind. The details are also on this page, on my Facebook business page. And October 5th is coming fast. All right. It's time for Autumn Leaves dies. These dies are actually, this whole set is actually an encore set. It's one that was brought back with this catalog, and I'm so glad it was. I had not ordered it. Now, I only ordered the dies because I was after the leaf dies and all the different things that I could do with leaf dies. There's a stamp set that goes with it, and it would be awesome to have that as well. Then you get the actual texture and the veins of the leaves and some sayings. So, you know, keep that in mind. But what I'm going to work with tonight are the Autumn Leaves dies. And this is on page 74 in your annual catalog. All right, let's get to it. So these are the dies right here. Let me move this aside. What I loved about this set was the large leaf dies. All three of those. Now, all three had stamps that you could stamp the leaf into. But this set not only includes the large leaf die, let me get this up, but this die then are the veins that you can put on top of the die, and it gives it a more realistic look. So you have this one that goes with this die. You've got this one, the double stem that goes with the double leaf die, and then you've got this one that goes with this one. And then you have the standalone leaf dies. All of these are standalone leaf dies. You also have 2 labels, sentiment labels, and this little interesting piece, and these 2 pieces. And let me show you what your pieces look like. So I cut these out just to give you an idea of the size and what they look like. All right. So this is your largest leaf die. This is the die that coordinates with it. And when you lay it over the top, I'll scoot it up just a little bit, then it just makes it even more realistic. I love that. I love that. So you've got that one. You've got this one. When you lay it over the top, gives it a more realistic look. And then this little double leaf. And these just fit right over it. There we go. Just like that. And then you have your standalone leaf dies. And another thing I love about this set is it gives you two of those, and two of the little ones. So it reduces the amount of time that you have to spend die cutting. Here are your label dies. Here's this little interesting piece, and I'll show you how I used it on a card. And then these dies, this one, it does this to your card, and this one does this. It just creates the holes. Let me bring it up a little bit and see if you can see it. It's just a point of interest. It adds these patterns with just little holes is what it is. All right, we're going to look at some cards, some samples. Let's set this aside. Let me bring in the first sample. All right, in this sample, I used the veins in a couple of the leaves. I used the little point of interest die. I used the label die, and then the smaller leaves. So you can see how this creates interest on those larger leaf dies. And your smaller ones have a embossed look to them. They emboss the lines. Okay, there's that one. This one I used the Splendid Autumn, I think is the name of it, the Designer Series paper. Just added one leaf on top. You know, it just didn't take much. And on this one, I used the same color for my veins as I did the leaf. Now, this is actually a die from an older retired set. I needed something that fit that You're Simply the Best sentiment. So this is backed in the gold glitter paper, and then early espresso, and then the copper clay. So I love this paper. Absolutely love that paper. So here's another one using a piece from the same Designer Series paper, but this is I did use an extra die here. This is from the Splendid Autumn die set. Let me make sure I said the name of that Designer Series paper correctly. Just a minute. I have to pull it out. Well, hold on. I don't like to say it wrong. Here it is. It is, no, it's not the Meandering Meadows. We've got several. Splendid Autumn. I was right. It's a Splendid Autumn 6x6 paper. And this is from the Splendid Autumn die set. But I wanted to, again, use this. And I used it twice down here. And this is where I put that little piece in. I just thought it added a little bit of interest. And I did emboss these. I ran the paper through an embossing folder first. And then I cut the leaf out, used the die. The Hello Fall is from Choose Happy. stamp set. All right, so that incorporates a few more of the elements. This is actually a card that I demonstrated on on a Stampin' Thursday a week ago, maybe. I used the embossing paste, but I used several sets of our Designer Series specialty papers to cut my leaves. Several of these are from the tartan foil, and this is from the distressed gold. They just make such beautiful leaves. So I wanted to bring this back out and show this one. And then there's this one where I used the tartan foil. Oh, and this is from, I mean, I'm not going to be able to put my hand on it. Sure as I, is that it? No, that's not it. Just a minute, maybe I can find it. Who knows? There it is. That is from the Season of Green and Gold. This one and this one are from the Season of Green and Gold Designer Series paper. So, and these leaves, now I'm going to show you this process here in a minute. All right. Then last but not least, this is the card that we're going to make together. So I embossed with the distressed, what is it, the distressed wood timber 3D embossing folder. I also embossed my cardstock for the leaves, and I'm going to show you how we get those colors. On this one though, and on this one too, I didn't mention that. Instead of using the veins on the leaves, I just use them as an accent piece behind the leaves. And I love that look. All right, grateful for you. So this is the card that we're going to make together. And the reason I'm doing that this time is to show you how to create leaves. How to create some beautiful leaves just out of cardstock. So we're going to use Basic Beige cardstock. And that is our base. It's an 8.5 by 5.5 base. Use my bone folder. We'll set that aside. Also, the mat is Early Espresso, and it is 5.25 by 4. And then the embossed piece is 5 by 3 3/4. 5 by 3 3/4. You just take 1/8 of an inch off, or 1/4 of an inch off each time. And then I went ahead and stamped just a square of the Basic Beige and embossed it with the embossing folder. And we'll make our greeting out of that in a minute. But what I want us to do is make our leaves. So we are going to use a 6 by 6 square of Basic Beige. We're going to use 3 different ink colors. We're going to use Old Olive, and Cajun Craze, and Blackberry Bliss. And we're going to use blending brushes. Now, I don't have a blending brush for every color, but I have a blending brush for every color group. So that's the one for my greens. This is the one for my purples. And this one for my oranges. So we're going to start with the green. Move it over here. Move these out of the way a little bit. And I'm just going to put down some green color. And I think I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. I could get it on my glass mat, but I don't want to get it all over the back of this paper. So now I'm going to put down some green, and I want this paper to be fairly dark. So we're going to be doing this for a minute, because I'm going to go back over it again and again, and I'm going to get ink on my hands. That's just typical, right? Let me look over here and, okay. All right. So I've got it going down here again. And I'm going to go around again. Let's make it a little darker. Now, we may come back in a minute and make it darker still. But I'm going to put down the Cajun Craze next. Okay. I try to start off, I try to remember to do that so I don't get a blob. Sometimes I forget to do that. Let me go back over here and here and darken it up. I'm going to go ahead and butt this up against the green. One more time. Okay. We're getting it darker, aren't we? Now I'm going to come in with the Blackberry Bliss on this edge right here. This edge here. And this edge over here. Go back. I'm going to go back and fill in. The Blackberry Bliss is sort of an accent color. It's really not my main. I want the orange and the green. But I wanted the shades of just a little bit of the Blackberry Bliss to come in. And, you know, when it starts going from the green to the orange to the red, that's kind of when we see those purple tones. I think I'll come in there with the green. Okay. Come again with my green, and I'm going to come back in here and connect these two. Okay, that's pretty good. I think I'm almost happy with that. I want this right in here to be a little darker. All right. You just keep layering it on. Layering it on. All right. And then I'm going to even come back with my Blackberry Bliss just a little bit and darken this. All right, I think I've done all I'm going to do. I'll put my blending brushes away. Close up my inks. The next thing we're going to do is emboss this with the Timber embossing folder. So I'm going to run this through real quick. With the Timber embossing folder, and it just fits perfectly. This is the Timber 3D embossing folder, and I'm not going to bring my machine over. I'm just going to run it through real quick. All right. Put these back down. So now, there we are. Doesn't that look great? Oh, but we're not done yet. We're going to add a little bit more interest by flicking on some water spots. So I just got some water, and I've got one of my aqua painters here. And I'm going to dip that in the water. And then I'm just going to get some spots going here. Okay. All right. Then, we're not done yet. Let me put this back on. Then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of that out onto the tip of the brush. And then I'm going to put some of that on here as well. Now we're adding a little bit of sparkle to this. Okay, I think we've added, I'm going to add just a little bit more right here if I can get some off my brush. There we go. Get some of that down. All right. Some Wink of Stella. That'll, it may not show up so much on the camera, but it shows up in real life. I'm going to wipe my tool off. All right. So now I need for it to dry. So while that's drying, let's go ahead and get our cinnamon ready. I'm just going to take my snips, and I just want to cut out around it. So I'm going to go straight across the top here. And come around my G. And around the Y for the U. that's done. Grateful for you. There we go. And we have that one ready. Let me grab my heat tool and just give this a quick going over. You'll see as it dries, the spots become even more clear. I love the look that that's going to give our leaves. And I'm going to daub a couple of these Winkerstellas that didn't quite get dry. But I think that'll do it. Now, we're going to cut our leaves. And so I'm going to die cut this one. And this one. And this one. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go this direction. I pull in a little bit of that Blackberry Bliss over there. A little bit here. All right. So I am going to pull my cut and emboss over for this. Make sure I've got these where I want them. Yeah, okay. Get the top plate. And we've got a lot left that we can cut more leaves from. So that's a really good thing. Paper gorgeous. I just think that is so pretty. All right, there we have that one and that one and that one. And put our dies back over here. This die. Our plate back. Now, I went ahead and die cut these little twigs. I just went ahead and did that ahead of time, just to save us a little bit of time. I'll set this aside. See, you've still got a lot of great paper left for more leaves. All right, I'm going to put our early espresso. Put that layer down. Make sure I've got it going the right way. And then we'll put our embossed basic beige layer down. Of course, you can look at it and decide which side of the embossing you want. Now, once you get the pieces made, the card is really easy to do. Now, I'm going to I'm going to lay these out just briefly. And you know, the neat thing about this is every card is going to look different. Every card will be a little bit different. All right, that means this one can go right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down, and I'll use my little fine tip Tombow for this, since I just want little lines. You know, it doesn't take much. That's all I need to do. And it can go right down here. The other one is going to go at the bottom. And that's all we need for that. That one's going to go right in there. Now I'm going to put this leaf down. I'm going to glue it down, but I'm going to use dimensionals on this one. So I'm also going to just curl the end of that up just the slightest little bit. Put some of my white glue down here and put it right about there. Right about there. And this one, I'm going to curl the tip end of it up, glue it down, and it should go right about there. And this one we'll put down with dimensionals. There, and there, there, and there. Just because I want the leaves to stand out. So we're going to put it down right here, right there. All right, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. There. And we've got our ribbon that we'll use to put right in the center of that to cover up all of our little places where it joins together. You just keep pulling it in and tightening it until you get it where you want it. I like for my ribbon, my bow to be tight. I like for the knot to be tight. So we're going to put that right there. And for that, I'll use a glue dot. I don't know if I mentioned that this batch of glue dots, man, it's tough. It's really strong. All right, I'm gonna cut that off right there. Trim this one. It's got kind of a ragged edge. It's still got a ragged edge. Okay. And we need our sentiment. And I'm going to put it on with dimensionals. tuck it right under that leaf. Right there. And then I used the adhesive backed Sparkle Gems. And I chose to use the black the sentiment is stamped in black. And I thought, you know, I wanted it to stand out. So, anyway. So I'll use the larger ones up here. Whoops. Put a larger one there. And a larger one here. And then I'm going to use a smaller one down here on the sentiment, because it's already raised up a little bit. So these are our adhesive backed Sparkle Gems. I just love these. All right. There we have it. We have our card. Let's see. I don't think I did the inside. No, I didn't. So there we have our leaves out of, I mean, this was so easy to do, and you could use any color you chose to use. And you could just use water. If you don't have Wink of Stella, just use water. All right, so let me put the cards back out here that we did with this autumn leaves dies. I love these dies. I just wanted a good leaf die. That was my goal, was to get a good leaf die. And these are, all right. We've got it right here. Here are the dies. I will have these. I'll move this video over to YouTube, and I will put photos of the cards and instructions for this card on my blog, stampindidispot.blogspot.com. And thank you so much for being here tonight. If you are watching this on YouTube, I so appreciate my YouTube followers. And I would love it if you would leave me a comment, give me a like, a thumbs up. That helps the videos to be more visible. So, you know, that's up to you. If it helped you, or if it was interesting to you, then please do a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Share this video. If you know somebody that would enjoy watching it, you use the share button below and share the video. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you Thursday morning at 10 o'clock for Stampin' Thursday. God bless. Bye-bye.